Buddhism is an ancient tradition with answers to life's biggest questions today. Why do we suffer? How do we relate to other beings? And how do we make the world a happier and more peaceful place for everyone? Our mission at BDK America is to help people understand Buddhism better. Are you looking to start learning about Buddhism or dig deeper? BDK America offers free books and videos for peoples of all ages and levels. Our most popular book, The Teaching of Buddha, is available to read in English and 46 other languages in physical, PDF, and audiobook formats. Visit our website for our latest publications and order your own free copy today.
Hi, how are you doing today? We're glad you tuned in because we're ready to have some fun. Today, let's explore some of the humorous and lighthearted Buddhist stories from the classical literature from Asia, as well as the American Buddhist experience. Why, you might ask? Well, humor is an effective method for conveying the teachings. Also, humor represents a vital quality of awakened persons who often reveal an air of levity and joy. To help us, Professor John McRae of Indiana University is once again here as our guest, and especially a bit of good luck, since it turns out that he also has a personal interest in Buddhist humor. Well, John, thank you for coming back to our show, and I think we're going to have lots of fun.
Well,
so appreciate it.
I'm very glad to be back. Yeah.
We're talking about humor, and so what does humor have to do with Buddhism, and what does Buddhists have to do with humor?
Well, my first impression is that Buddhists are actually very cheery people. I mean, I've known Buddhist monks and nuns from lots of countries, Taiwan and Southeast Asia, and Buddhism might have the reputation, I think it's unfounded, as a dour religion, but Buddhists are really very happy. I don't know, I think maybe celibacy may be good for the disposition, don't you think?
I don't know if I have a question on that one, but you may be right and you may be wrong. But, well, in contemporary American lore and discussions about Buddhism, and especially about Zen, you know, there's one experience I wanted to share with you. Once I went to pick up my son at his friend's place, and his mother came out, and she was all, you know, sweaty and looking disheveled. And so I asked, what happened? And she said, well, I'm zenning out. And I said, what? And I had never heard that term before, zenning out. And she said, well, I'm cleaning my house and clearing the shelves. And so that's how Zen is being brought into to American culture and language. And so related to that, I understand that you once made a list of all the books on books with Zen in the title. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's like, I mean, Zen is used in English to mean to do things simply, to do things in a kind of unbroken state of concentration and aesthetically simply. So your zenning out example fits perfectly within that. But as evidence of that, I mean, if you look for books with Zen in the title, you know, you have old ones, Zen in the Art of Archery, Zen in the Art of Flower Arranging, Zen in the Art of Taming the Bull. And a lot of good books on Zen have that kind of title. But then there are things like Zen in the Art of the Macintosh, Zen in the Art of Zen in the Art of windsurfing, Zen in the Art of tennis, Zen in the Art of golf, Zen in the Art of driving. I mean, you could go on and on. The one that I always found strange was Zen and the Art of Cubing.
Cubing.
And the subtitle is In Search of the Seventh Side. I always thought that was quite mysterious. There's one author who wrote two very different books, one on Zen and computers, and the other Zen and the Art of Sex. And I hope they're different
sell?
books. I don't know.
So that's contemporary American Zen scene. How about in classical Buddhist literature? There must be some interesting stories or humorous, lighthearted stories.
Oh, well, there are lots of them. For example, there's the story of a master, a Zen master, and his student come up to a river, and there's a young lady trying to get across the river, but the current is too strong and doesn't know quite what to do. And the master just picks her up, puts her on her back, and carries her across the river. And they all wade across that way. And the other side of the river, he puts her down, and they walk on. And after a few minutes, the student asks his teacher, well, wasn't that a violation of the Vinaya, of the monastic regulations, to touch a woman? I mean, and the master says something to the effect of, well, I put her down way back there. Why haven't you put her down yet?
So I think it's, so what is the point of that story?
Well, yeah, it has a serious implication, meaning to it. That, I mean, there's nothing wrong with beautiful women. That's,
I agree with that.
That's a personal conviction as well. You can imagine the student, walking behind the teacher, and if he's carrying her on her back, he's examining with great interest her feet and the beauty of her personal being. And that's what the problem is that he's aroused his own desire, and he can't let go of it. If he's supposed to let go of things, if you have feelings, and there's nothing wrong with those feelings, but in Zen training or Buddhist training in general, the problem is hanging on to them and getting stuck to them, getting attached to them. Exactly.
I see. Well, I have one. This one I heard from Reverend Mas Kodani, who's a minister in Los Angeles, and he told the story of here's a man hanging on a cliff, and then as he's hanging there, Buddha appears, and so the man looks up and says, with his last ounce of energy, he says, "Oh, Buddha, save me, save me," and the Buddha says, "I will, let go."
Okay.
Okay.
So he lets go, or what?
Yeah. So well, he let go, and you think he fell down, but this is an illusion or delusion on the man's part. So he thought he was hanging vertically on a cliff, but actually the Buddha knows that he's lying horizontally, and so that all that fear of falling off or falling down was just an illusion. And so what the Buddha is trying to say is that that's how we are. We suffer because we think we have illusion or delusion that when life is impermanent, but people want to cling on to things, and so by clinging on to and fighting change, and you're struggling. So he says, life is change, and you let go and you flow. And that's how that's the point of the story. And I think it's pretty good. It's kind of
so that in both these stories, Buddhism is saying let go, and the humor is situations where we have to find how to let go.
That's true. Yeah. So we've been talking about humorous stories from the classical period. So how about some from contemporary American scene? And I have one.
Okay.
If I may. This is, why did the Buddha buy a Happy Meal?
I don't know why.
Because he realized that life is suffering.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Now there's a genre of jokes where you have a guy with a long beard and ragged clothes, and he's carrying a sign saying Jesus is coming. And as you see all kinds of ones like this, but I saw one where behind the guy with the placard saying Jesus is coming is probably a Chinese or Japanese looking guy with a sign saying Buddha here now.
The now one. I have heard this other one that is not specifically Buddhist, but there's a Buddhist in it, and he plays a minor role. But anyway, here are three guys fishing in the middle of a huge lake. Okay? And then all of a sudden the boat capsizes. And they don't know how to swim, and it's just too far. And so they're clinging on to the boat in the middle of this huge lake. And the leader says, well, I guess the only option we got is to pray. So you pray. And the first guy says, no, I'm an atheist, so I don't pray. And there's the second guy, how about you? He goes, well, I'm a Buddhist, so we don't pray in that sense of asking for things. And then the leader says, well, then I don't go to church, but I live next to a church, so I hear them praying all the time, so let's bow our heads. And so 3 of them, they bowed their hands, and they said, then he goes, B5, I28, O64. You get it?
So it's bingo, right?
Bingo.
That reminds me of something that actually happened at the Los Angeles Zen Center many years ago. They were holding a session, a meditation retreat, and every day, or maybe several times a day, they go to the master, it was Maezumi Roshi at the time, and they tell their koan. And
koan is?
A koan is a meditation subject.
Yeah.
So the first thing you do when you go to the teacher is you recite your koan. And many of them were reciting, studying the mu koan, where mu is an enigmatic answer that means nothing or non-being or something. But they go into the teacher and say each time, mu! Well, apparently the building is quite close to the other building, and there's some people, just ordinary people living next door, and they, after time and time again, somebody coming in and going, moo! They yelled out something like, well, just kill the cow and get over with it already.
Real story?
Real story.
Oh,
Real story.
that's great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Well, that was enjoyable. And it's good to know that in Buddhism there are these stories to convey the Buddhist teachings. So thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom about humor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As you can see, humor is a way to talk about Buddhism. This is especially true in America, where our friendly and humorous approach is appreciated, as reflected in today's passage. The eternal Buddha always appears before people in the most friendly forms and brings to them the wisest methods of relief. Starting next week, we shall move to the topic of the Eightfold Noble Path, which places more weight on how we act than how we view things. We hope you join us.
We at Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai pursue peace and happiness for people around the world. We have published the Buddhist teachings into 41 languages and donated our publication to hotels and other facilities in 55 countries. We would like to share the Buddhist teachings with people around the world. That's our mission. Visit our website for more information.